Hi guys, welcome back. So obviously in the last video we spoke about getting in a good position with your hips to bar, okay? Now obviously from there you want to start to think about your transition over the top, okay? So you want to make sure that you're not thinking about your transition until you've hit that hips to bar position, okay? If you don't, then you're going to find it a lot more difficult to get yourself over the top of the bar, okay? Your reps will be a little bit hit and miss, and also when you get tired, then you're going to feel it a lot more in your biceps, requiring a lot more pulling strength, as opposed to making the most of the power you can get from your hips, okay? So from that position, when you transition, obviously you're going to be really aggressive in terms of bringing your head forward over the bar, okay? But as well as that, you want to also focus on bringing your feet back underneath you, okay? So what can happen quite a lot of the time is you focus so much on getting your elbows over the top of the bar that you leave your legs out in front, okay? So you're almost in kind of L shape, which means your center of mass is way out here, which makes it a lot harder for you to get over the top of the bar, okay? So you're having to work harder to do the same amount of work, all right? Whereas what you want to try and do as you transition forwards over the bar is bring your feet back underneath you, okay? Now, what that's going to do, basically, just the momentum of your feet coming back underneath you is going to help you get your body over the top of the bar as opposed to having to work against it, okay? Which, as you get tired in a workout, is going to make a really big difference. It's also going to help with that chicken wing, okay? Because you're going to have a lot more momentum coming over the top. And as we said before, as long as you keep your feet together and keep your hips nice and square, as opposed to rotating to one side, then you're not going to get that chicken wing, okay? Obviously, as you do transition over the top, you want to be focusing on being really aggressive with your elbows, okay? So obviously your elbows, you're going to start off way behind the bar, okay? As you come back over the top, all right, you want to think about almost doing like a GHD sit-up kind of movement in the sense of throwing your head forward and letting your elbows transition along with it, okay? Now that wants to be quite an aggressive and deliberate movement. At first, you'll find you'll probably come over the bar quite low. You'll be hitting it around the bottom of your chest, okay? That's normal. You know, that's just getting a feel for the movement, okay? But as you get a little bit more comfortable with the movement, then you want to start to think about keeping your chest up, okay? Looking straight forward and slightly up as opposed to looking down at the bar to see what you're doing, okay? Keeping your chest up so that you catch more around belly button height, which obviously is going to make your dip a lot easier, okay? Now with that transition, obviously, like we said, the more aggressive you are, the easier that's going to be for you, okay? The biggest problem, or one of the big problems people have with getting their first bar muscle up is just knowing how hard to transition forwards over the top, even if they're getting more than enough height. Obviously that's the same on your bar muscle ups and your ring muscle ups, okay? So be as aggressive as you can there. Focus on getting your elbows over the top. Obviously drills like jumping bar muscle ups are really good at helping for this, as long as you go through the full movement pattern, okay? So what you don't want to do on your jumping bar muscle up is just jump straight up and over using a really high box, okay? Yes, it's going to feel like you're doing the right kind of thing, but in the long run, you're not really getting into the right kind of movement pattern, okay? So when you do a jumping bar muscle up, I want you to swing forwards into a full kip, then as you come out, back and around, okay? Go through that full movement pattern where you're pushing down onto the bar, reaching. Obviously, you're not going to be able to get into a full horizontal position because you're going to be stood in the box, but pushing down on the bar, leaning as far back as you can, and then just as you feel like you're running out of momentum, you want to jump up, pop over the top, transition your elbows forward, okay? The other alternative you can try is going with the band. Obviously, the downside of the band is you can't get into a full kip because you're going to headbutt it, okay? You might also find that it pulls your feet out further in front of you, but that's not necessarily a bad thing because that's going to teach you to be more aggressive, getting your feet back underneath you, okay? It's also going to lift your feet up a little bit higher when you're going into that horizontal position, which is going to get you into a good body position for your transition, okay? As long as you're still just as aggressive, bringing your feet back underneath you when you go over the top, okay? So try those two drills and let me know how you get on. And next up, we're going to be taking a look at how to be more efficient once you've got your first few reps.